It's the Date Master, and we're back. Late night action. What I want to talk about is male narcissism. We want to discuss this term, and what this term represents is a it's a valuable label. In our society, what we're dealing with now, they have a label for everything. I call it pick and play. Anytime women get triggered in regards to conversation, dialogue, to where they're held accountable, they have a label readily available to use to silence or mute or pause any male truth, any information that males present that pretty much hold women accountable. Any information that is presented that reveals the true nature of women. Any information that shows the reality in which we live. And a lot of times when men present their standards, narcissism is the go-to label. Is either narcissist, you're gay, you're broke, you hate your mother, etc., etc. Male narcissism or narcissism is the number one label you would look to adopt anytime you're in a conversation, a debate, any type of dialogue with the opposite sex in regarding relationship dynamics. And I'm going to tell you why. Narcissism is one of those labels. It's kind of like a bully. When you look at history, you look at the bullies, Genghis Khan, you look at let's look at white supremacy. You look at a lot of the juggernauts that dominated other cultures, races, genders. They were looked at as bullies. And bullies have narcissistic tendencies, which means I know the value and the power that I possess, and I'm going to leverage that. I'm going to leverage that in my agenda. Some agendas are good, some agendas are bad, but it's an agenda nonetheless. If you're in this world and you don't have an agenda, you're losing. If you're in this world, in this society, Western society, you're losing. You should always have an end game and end goal with any and everyone that you're dealing with. And I'm going to put this in the book. The Bachelor's Bible is on the way. You want to be calculated in your moves and your steps. Everything that you do, you should have an end game. Now, you don't want to use people. You do want to be genuine with your intentions. You don't want to be malicious, but you do want to be objective. You do want to have end goals for everything that you're doing, because if not, you're wasting time, effort, and energy. There is an end game to everyone, or everyone should have an end game to what they want their life to look like when everything is said and done. You want to say, this is what I did, this is how I did it. This is how you pass on legacy. So narcissism is one of those labels that women like to use. And when you notice the conversation, if you're engaging in conversation with women frequently, they rarely pull this label out because they know that it's empowering. They know that it empowers men to be better, because narcissism, it has these negative connotations. But when you break down the term narcissist, you're pretty much putting yourself first. You're pretty much holding yourself to a higher standard of accomplishment, meaning I rock with you, we're cool, we do this, we do that, but none of that matters to what I ultimately want to gain in this world and in my lifetime, in my lifespan. And what you run into, let's take Drake, for instance. Drake is the epitome of narcissism, narcissistic behavior, narcissism, whatever you want to call it. And that's okay. When you look at the work, if you're in the 80s, baby, dynamic. Even early 90s, you notice and you would have paid attention to Drake's trajectory, the work, the consistency, the effort, every detail that he's included in his campaign has contributed to his success. So that's why he can go to the Dodger Stadium and have a date with a woman of his liking. He can pull a woman out of anywhere and have a enjoyable experience with her. Now, people say he's simping, he's this. Well, we must understand when a person gets to a certain level, these labels that we throw around, they really don't apply when these people can buy you 10 times over. Drake is a juggernaut. He's a legend, and he's under 40. He's a legend. So we like to say, okay, she's a baby mom, because red pill can be misconstrued a lot of times. But when you reach to a certain level of power, influence, affluence, and presence, a lot of these terms do not apply to you. Jay-Z, Russell Wilson, and a lot of people are going to give me backlash saying Russell Wilson's a simp. He took Future's baby mom. Okay, cool. Yeah, he did that. However, Russell Wilson is in a position that most men will not be put in. Drake is in a position that most men will not be put in. They have 100% autonomy over their life, over their future, over their reality. So again, when you hear people say narcissist, these are compliments, but they have to be covered up in a certain way when women say them because of the status. So you want to look at yourself as a figure of power. You put in the work, you have the ideas, you have the vision of what you want your life to be 5 to 10 years from now. That's what Drake did. When you look at Drake's career, you can clearly see that everything that he did was mapped out and planned out, and he adjusted to any and all adversity that was thrown his way, and he turned it into something that benefited him and his platform. Most men don't do that. They take L's and they fall flat on their face. Now, okay, you can see well, he lost that battle. He could have came harder. You're going to have minor failures. Some of us are going to have major failures, but the relentless nature of a man who's driven and has a vision, none of that really matters. So how you make narcissism work for you is to understand who you are and what you are put here for, what you intend to do. What you intend to do and why you are doing it is all that matters. Opinions, blogs, people court, again, this is in the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. You want to court all attention at all costs. You want to keep your name in the conversation. You want to that's why you see a lot of guys, the reason why we have this content is because people are putting themselves in position. Some unknowingly, some knowingly. The Drakes, the Moneybagg Yo's, the Jay-Z's, etc., they know what they're doing. They understand power. They understand influence. So as long as I have you talking, I have your attention, means that creates value and an opportunity for me to capitalize. So you make this work for you in the matter of your resume. Your resume is going to speak volume. So as long as your name is in the mix, you have an opportunity to increase your resume. Women hate narcissistic men, but they also love narcissistic men because they know they cannot influence, tear down, or derail your movement. The Drakes, the Futures, they know that they can't win with these guys. So they are amused, they admire, and they're hypnotized by these men of power. Narcissism is a term that is thrown around, but it's a lot of the times misunderstood. A lot of the times it's misconstrued and it's twisted to make you the villain. And if you look at most movies, Marvel, DC, whatever you're into, the villain a lot of times is the most popular character. Thanos in the MCU, the most popular character. Why is that? Magneto, if you follow the X-Men franchise, villain, but one of the most popular. Apocalypse, villain, one of the most popular. Bane, one of the most popular. Because they're narcissistic in their ability to achieve a goal. So as long as you have your goals in order, as long as you have your priorities in order and your vision is in order, no woman can say anything to derail your vision, your goals, your ambition. Only thing that matters is results. So you have to adopt a narcissistic personality or persona to achieve these goals. Jay-Z, Drake, Dame Dash, Puff Daddy, all of these guys exhibit narcissistic behavior. So when a woman calls you narcissistic or saying you're a narcissist, etc., welcome it. Embrace that, because that is a backhanded compliment, but a compliment nonetheless. She is telling you that you are powerful in an awkward way or in an unconventional way. She's telling you that you are something more than what she's used to dealing with. And a good percentage of women will say that, and they'll run away from you because they're simply not built to handle you. They're simply not equipped or have enough value to handle you. So they'll call you that and they'll ghost you, or they'll take themselves out of the equation. Embrace that, because she did you a favor. She did you a favor by leaving you and going ghost because you were too much. You gave her too much. You know, a lot of the times we deal with women and we end up having these in-depth conversations, and she said, well, you're a narcissist. Yes, baby, I am all of that, because I know what my life is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. I know where my effort and energy is going to be put in, put it in the next 5 to 10 years. So don't be afraid of these labels. Don't be afraid of certain shaming language that's really empowering language, such as the word narcissist. It's something I want to dive deep into, because a lot of our men, a lot of us have a lot of power and potential, but we just don't have the drive and execution to bring these ideas to fruition. But I'm going to show you how to do this. You're talking to a guy who lost his job in 2019 and started his own graphic design company. And I have clients all over the country. In a lot of cases over the world, I have clients in Ghana, Canada reaching out to me for my work. And I've only been doing this a year, self-taught. So I would gladly embrace being a narcissist, because I understand what I can do and why I'm doing it. It's not for the world to understand why I am doing it. It's up for them to understand what I do, because they can benefit from what I do. But why am I doing it? It's only my business. Stay tuned for part 2 for this video. It's the Date Master.